everyone, Sawmill Charlie. Well, it's Memorial Day weekend. It's Saturday, about 1 o'clock. It's a bit breezy here in Maryland, and it's kind of cloudy with a little bit of sun coming through. I'm going to go and maintenance this cell builder. I've taken 2 grafts out of it, and right now it's housing some of the virgin queens that I had marked and put in candy cages, in JZBZ candy cages. So what I'm going to do is, I originally put 7 frames of cat brood in here. By now, I would say all of that cat brood has been hatched. All those nurse bees have been in this hive, populating, doing and making cells for me. I will be grafting Monday, so I can have a rotation of cap queen cells on a Saturday instead of the middle of the week, which is a little bit more convenient for me and the customers. And also, the queens will be hatching on a Saturday, so I can have more time to get them taken care of and all that. So what I have done, I went down the row here. I went to my Demery production hives, and where I have rotated cat brood from the bottom brood chambers up to the top brood box up on top of those hives, I've skimmed off a frame or 2 from each hive, and I've got 5 frames of cat brood along with the nurse bees on them. I'm going to take the old frames out of the bottom box here. I'm going to put all 5 cat brood frames in the bottom, kind of refresh this cell builder with incoming nurse bees. And I did shake off a few more, maybe a pound or so of regular nurse bees out of the inner covers of those hives into the pro-nuke. They stayed right in there. If they were foragers, they would have flown off. So I know that they're all nurse bees. So I'm going to go ahead, get into this hive. I'm going to bring you on up a little closer, give you that bird's eye view again, so you can see what I'm doing. And we'll go ahead and get this hive set up, getting ready for another grafting on Monday. All right, I've got you brought up a little closer, give you a bird's eye view. Take the lid off. Here we've got nurse bees packed, and there's also queens in JZBZ candy cages in here being fed by these bees. The queen cells that were on the grafting frame have been taken out and put in the incubator. So I want to show you how many nurse bees. Look at all those nurse bees. They're about 2.5 inches worth of bees on there. There's the queens. I've already used one, I've sold one, and I did have an issue with some queens that just didn't hatch. They were not properly matured in the incubator. So actually came out this last graft with 12 queens. I've already used one, like I said, in a nuke and sold one. So I am going to put this cover up here so the bees don't fall off of it. I'm going to go ahead and grab the queens here, put them along with the bees, give them something to do. This is a 3.5 inch shim that I made so I could put those JZBZ candy cages in there and give them room. Now this frame right here was a blank frame to fill the space after I took the grafting frame. They will generally try to draw wax, and they are. It's not very deep yet, but they are drawing wax. There's some more of it right there. That's something a cell builder will do. I also put another frame, I believe, I remember, over here. Took out there's another frame of drawn wax. And it's filled with a little bit of nectar. I'm gonna go ahead and shake them bees off. There it is. Beautiful. I can use that in other places. I'll give them another blank frame to continue to draw wax for me. This frame over here, it's full of nectar. And this frame right here is a pollen frame I gave them the last time they were in here. And it's still full of nice pollen. That'll stay in there. This other frame over here off to the left was a pollen frame also, but because of all this nectar coming in, they have packed it, kind of capped nectar on top of pollen. So I'm going to take that one out and try to find another pollen frame and replace it. All right, these 5 frames here were all brood frames. I will take all of those out, shake the bees off, and replace them with these 5 new brood frames to continue to keep the nurse bee population and young nurse bees. That's the key here. Nurse bees are good for, we were discussing about that with Brad from Faith Apiaries up in Canada, in Manitoba, and we have, I think the best we can remember is that about, nurse bees are good for about 3 weeks, and then they get old and they don't produce royal jelly like they did when they were first hatched. So that's something to always consider. I'm going to go ahead and put some brood frames in. It's got the nurse bees. There's a nice brood frame, cat brood, be emerging probably in about a week or so. It also gives this hive, there's another one, the pheromone smells. So it will not go laying worker on you because of the brood smell. And we'll get this out of here. Damn it. Another brood frame. And we got one more to take out of here. A lot of bees in here, but that's the magic of a cell builder, is that you want a tremendous amount of bees in there in order for them to make queen cells for you. And there we are. We got 5 new brood frames with cat brood. Kind of push the bees back in. And they also will calm down. If they're real agitated, when they smell that brood in there, they will calm right down. See if we can get everybody scooted out of the way so we don't crush anybody. Trying to scoop everybody back in. Alright, that's my blank frame. This is my pollen frame. That's an empty frame right there. I'll have to go find a couple more frames, and I'm going to put a pollen frame here, and this is also a pollen frame. The grafting frame will go here, and I will put possibly another brood frame right there. So give me a couple minutes and I'll be right back. Alright, I went ahead and found a pollen frame and a brood frame. Here's a pollen frame here. It's got a lot of pollen in it. It's fresh on both sides. I'm going to put that over here on the left hand side. Push these frames over. So we got a pollen. This is where our graft will go. Right now that's foundation being drawn out. Another pollen frame that I put in the last time. It's still good shape. And then here is another brood frame. I'm going to put that in there along with that. This over here is more of a food frame. I usually feed these hives or cell builder with some Pro Sweet. Not sure whether I have to really do that right now. There is a flow coming on. Alright, I put my 3-inch shim back on. I'm going to go ahead and put the queens back in until I need them later today. I will be putting them in some hives, and I'll take you along on that. And here's some more of them bees in there. I'm going to shake them in. Everybody's happy. Actually, I got some bees in my nuke box there. Let me go ahead and take that lid back off. Here's some bees in there. I think you can see that. All right. Now let's put the inner cover back on. I'll cover the juice hole up with a piece of board for now. And there it is. We have the cell builder re-maintenance, I will call it. So let me bring the camera back, and so you can get a better view of everything. Alright everyone, got you back in place so you can see everything. Alright, the cell builder has been maintained. I put 6 frames of cap brood in there. I freshened up a frame of pollen. There is a frame in there that is just foundation right now, and which they'll give them a place to draw wax when they're finished drawing the cells. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to take these queens that I have in there. They've been in there for about 2.5 days since they've hatched out of the incubator. I felt that like I said in my short video, that the bees can take care of them queens much better than I can when it comes to feeding. So I've got about 4 hives down through here that need queens. I want to take you along and show you how I release the queen into those hives, or at least one of the hives. And what I normally do is direct release. I don't actually give them a candy cage where they release over a period of time like a normal mated queen. One thing I do is put the queen in the cage on top of the frames to see the reaction of the bees. So if they come around and try to feed her and take care of her, I know there's most likely not going to be any problem direct releasing her. If they're trying to sting her, then definitely that's not the queen for that hive, or it needs to be checked and see whether there's any queen cells in that hive or any other brood that can make larvae or make a queen cell, because bees will always try to use their own family members, I'll call it, first instead of an outside type bee. So let's go ahead down the line and I'll take you to the next hive where we're going to do a queen release. I'll go ahead and pull one of these cages out of the JZBZ cell strip and bring it along. Alright, we're here down at the hive number 2 actually, and it is queenless and population is diminishing. I had to go ahead and took off a couple honey supers there that were actually filled it all. We do have one honey super right here that does have some weight about it, and it does have some population, but not very much. And we got the queen excluder here. Now what I want to do is I want to kind of go through this hive, make sure there's no queen cells, no eggs if there happened to be a virgin queen that got in here in the meantime since I've looked at this hive. So see what we can find. Just an open brood frame right there. There's a cup. Open frame other than that little cell cup. We got some drone brood. We got a queen cell that was broken off. They are trying to requeen themselves. And your typical drone brood. Couple more cups, nothing in them though. Some drone brood, of course. There's a crazy looking crop. Here's a drone frame. Some cups on that, but they have been utilizing those drone frames quite a bit, which reduces a lot of drone brood between the frames, and the box is a little bit easier to get out. or get the boxes apart, especially in the springtime. Here's a pollen frame. Nothing there. Since these drone frames have been utilized like that, I've been putting them in number 2 position, as I call it. Started out at number 3, recommendations of the professor at Penn State, which they did draw them out quite well. All right, that box is free of brood, free of queen cells. Put it off to the side. Go through this hive here, or this box. Completely empty. And I would say this one's completely empty. A little bit of brood, or drone brood. Same there. And some worker brood, a little bit, not much. Same there. Drone frame, they haven't drawn that out yet. A little bit of worker brood. I'm going to go ahead and put that on in the center. Stick that out on the outside for right now. And put this back on top. We got the bees here. We've got our queen right here. She's marked blue. She's a virgin. And that ain't the right one. It was empty. Yeah, there she is. She's in there. I just want to lay it there for a few minutes and see if there's any reaction. See whether the bees kind of come up to her, check her out, and all that. I'm going to go ahead and while they're getting acquainted, let me bring you on up a little closer so you can see the action here and get yourself a good bird's eye view of this. Well, as you can see, the bees really don't care, which doesn't really surprise me. Virgins don't have the pheromone smells as a mated queen has. That's why they don't really pay a whole lot of attention to a virgin and all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to direct release this virgin. And I took my gloves off. Just want to make sure that Brad from Faith Apiaries sees this, that I actually took my gloves off to release a queen. And I'm going to lay her down right there. Now they're kind of checking her out a little bit. She's going to kind of figure out how to get out of the cage. Here, going through the entrance hole here. Hopefully. I think she's finding it. There she goes, and down she goes. She's sort of a black queen. And there we have it. A direct release. So let me go ahead and put you back so you can see the hive and myself. Well, everyone, everything's successful so far. As we know, the queen came out of the queen cage She walked right in. The bees really didn't pay much attention to her. She is a marked queen. I marked them right out of the incubator this year for the first time. And of course the mark is blue. And so I will come back to this hive in 2 weeks. She will stay in this hive for about 4 to 5 days, and her exoskeleton will harden, her ovaries will develop, and her wings will get dry and harden so she can fly. And then she'll go out and mate. I'm not really sure whether it's going to take 1 or 2 times. Depends on the weather too, because we're getting a lot of rain here lately. Of course, right in the middle of the honey flow, knocking a lot of the nectar flow off, like the poplar trees, washing the nectar out. The locust trees here are all done. About, I guess it was the end of last week. And there was a lot of rain kind of right in the middle of the locust flow. So hopefully we will have good weather Monday, and then it says it's supposed to rain, I think, for 2 days, as far as I know, is what the extended forecast thing. So that also makes it difficult for this queen, because she's got to have good weather to go out and mate with the drones. So that's why, you know, I say at least 2 weeks, because of bad weather in those 14 days when she goes out. So sometimes when it's great weather, it's less than 2 weeks. So we're going to go ahead and close this hive on up and let her be, and mark the date when I installed her and the date that when I need to check to see if, and when I come back in 2 weeks, I'm expecting to see at least eggs and all. So until next time, please like, subscribe, click the notification bell, share my videos with your friends, and have fun with your bees.